Oh my goodness. Well, everything's just going all kinds of crazy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Yeah. I don't know what the heck happened. I pressed the wrong button. I don't know. I did something and I made things go all crazy. So, whatever. All right. Well, I guess we'll just go ahead and just get things kicked off. It's a little early. But apparently something, yeah. So I'm not even close to being like prepared because I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on. Anyway, all right, give me just a second here. We'll get things started in just a quick moment. Oh, wow. Geez, Polish dog, that's cold. That's just cold. Yes, I am confused. I'm hopefully streaming on all of my platforms, though. I'm checking everything now. Let's see what we got here. Let's do that. Okay, I think I have everything now. So let's see. Here, we're going to do the test, the typical test. And we'll see what happens here. If I hit 1, 2, 3, and come on. Come on, Facebook. There's 4. All right. So at least those have all gotten going. Wow, what a mess. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get things kicked off here. Tonight is the Pledge of Allegiance is going to be done by none other than our very own Amy Jean Viner over on Rumble. So if you are of mine, please stand, remove your hat, and let's hope and pray this works. Place your hand over your heart and join along with Amy as she recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and of course, yeah. So 3 Chevy, take your hat off. Just take it off. I mean, quit messing with it. All right. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself performing the pledge in your style or reciting the pledge in your style, however you want to do it. And then all you need to do is take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file, and attach it to an email. Send it off to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. Oh, goodness. Just so many things. Well, you know, hey, just so everybody knows, I went and put out a whole bunch of American flags, well, Mrs. Whiskey's request, out on the road. So we've got 7, I think, that are on the fence outside the property, and then we have 2 on the gate. So that makes a total of 9. Then you add the one that's on the pole in the yard, and that makes 10. So there you go. Anyway, I'm sorry. What are you talking about, Tommy? Tommy over on Facebook. Anyway. All right, moving on. Tonight I am drinking the Knob Creek Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. That is, you know, probably about halfway now. So there we go. And it is incredibly hot out there, but here we go. There we go. The It Takes Stones to Drink with Whiskey glass, the gift that keeps on giving every single time I drink out of it. There's the stones that it takes. There we go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, Buddy Weiser checked in, said thank you for the prayers. Keep it up. He'll eventually be back, he says, but anyway, You guys are just fantastic for sending me that wonderful glass. All right. Oh, I don't have my script up for this. No. Like I said, I am just all kinds of discombobulated because things just didn't start working like they should. The whole automation section just failed on me. You know, AI is great only when it works. Oh, and I guess I'm traveling again. That's fantastic. I saw that. Got that. No, Tommy, your rendition of the pledge is in, give me just a second here, because I got to find the list. You're number 9 in the list, so expect to hear it in 8 more episodes, not counting this one. 8 more episodes, not counting this one, and then you'll be up. So there you go. Yeah, I have them. I actually have all of the ones that have been submitted so far in a particular, well, kind of a particular order, and I've got numbers on them, so I know where they go. And right now, Amy is number 1, so she is at the top of the list. So we're back up to the top of the list again. So there we go. And it goes, I have 16 in total in the rotation. So there you go. If I get more, obviously they'll get added. But as of right now, I have 16 total. So every 16th episode you should be, or 17th episode, you should be back up if you're listening for yourself. So there you go. All right. Tonight's sponsor is the Institute on the Constitution. The Institute on the Constitution was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission, and that is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government, as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate your community and get involved with local government. Start by taking their free U.S. Constitution course and go from there. Use my affiliate link, iotc.americanperspective.online, to sign up, and while you are there, take a moment to look through their other course material and information. My affiliate link, once again, is excuse me. Oh, goodness. iotc.americanperspective.online to get great content to learn about our historical founding and support the show in the process. That's iotc.americanperspective.online, or if you want to get this wonderful, fabulous Saddleback leather-bound U.S. Constitution to support the show, go to constitution.americanperspective.online. This is the one that has sexy rounded corners with amendments that are in numerical order. And here we go. There is 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. Not to mention the fact that this is not cheap glue, folks. This is stitched all the way through the leather and the pages contained within. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and manufacturing defects, such that if you have a problem with this thing, you can send it back to the manufacturer, and they will either fix it or replace it for free. It is buddy tested, buddy approved, Billy tasted, Billy approved, and my youngest whiskey warrior has confirmed that the information contained within will help you study for your civics badge in Scouts. It will also help you study for your civics exam if they still have those. Head on over to constitution.americanperspective.online and get yours today. I do appreciate the fact that the Institute on the Constitution allows me to be an affiliate of theirs, and you should go and check out all of their offerings. They offer a great plethora of wonderful fact-filled books and information about this fantastic country that we call home. And you'll learn something in the process, I promise. But go and check them out today. All right. Oh, well, Becky, down in the land down under, has She's decided to, kick my can just to make sure that I remember, of course, the story time, which is on this day in American history. And of course, for On This Day in American History, we read from the American Patriots Almanac, written by William J. Bennett and John T.E. Cribb. It is chock full of all kinds of information and factoids about this wonderful country that we call home. Tonight is June 7th, and we're going to be talking about Daniel Boone in Kentucky. On this day in 1769, Daniel Boone made camp along the rolling forested hills of a hunter's paradise he had long dreamed of exploring. He had spent several weeks trekking over the Appalachian Mountains, having resigned my domestic happiness for a time and left my family in peaceable habitation on the Yadkin River in North Carolina to wander through the wilderness of America in quest of the country of Kentucky. Now, they spelled it back then, Kentucky, without the Y. It was Kentucke is how he spelled it, apparently, in his journals or whatever. He later recalled his arrival. We proceeded successfully, and after a long and fatiguing journey through the mountainous wilderness in a westward direction, on the 7th day of June following, we found ourselves on Red River, and from the top of an eminence saw with pleasure the beautiful level of Kentucky, again without the Y. At this place we encamped and made a shelter to defend us from the inclement season, and began to hunt and reconnoiter the country. We found everywhere abundance of wild beasts of all sorts through a vast forest. The buffaloes were more frequent than I have seen cattle in settlements, browsing on the leaves of the cane or cropping the herbage on those extensive plains, fearless because ignorant of the violence of man. Sometimes we saw hundreds in a drove, and the numbers about the salt springs were amazing. In this forest, the habitation of beasts is of every kind natural to America. We practiced hunting with great success until the 22nd day of December following. Now, Boone was already becoming a legendary explorer. I can't say as ever I was lost, but I was bewildered once for 3 days, he said. Boy, that sounds like me. I can't say I've ever been wrong, but I was mistaken once about being wrong. Anyway. In 1775, he blazed a wilderness road through Cumberland Gap, establishing a main westward route through the Appalachians. Thousands of tough, resourceful pioneers followed him into the wild, fertile land of Kentucky and beyond. And that is tonight's On This Day in American History. You know, that's the one thing about America and its history is the fact that everything that this country has ever done has been done by pioneering individuals, and some of them being very wealthy individuals who have created things that have defied expectations, have defied the common thought process. I mean, every single thing this country has done has been just absolutely fantastic and amazing, and against all kinds of odds, as well as against common thought. I mean, common thought was that the America back in 1775 and 1776, they would never be able to defeat the largest and most powerful army in the history of the world at the time, which was the British Army, the Redcoats. They were feared throughout the world. And our little ragtag you know, upstart colonists with militiamen, which even the redcoats, they looked down on the militiamen. They thought that the militiamen were just, they weren't regular soldiers. They were a ragtag group of people, and they looked down upon them, and they thought, those people, yeah, they're not any good. Yeah. And what did we end up doing? We ended up, George Washington and his band of miscreants, known as the American military at the time, went ahead and were able to defeat the greatest army the world had ever seen at that time. Yeah. And again, we've been doing that with our indomitable American spirit ever since. We've been changing the world one person, one avenue, one event at a time. People said we couldn't go to the moon, we went to the moon. People said we couldn't win World War I, we won World War I. People said we couldn't win World War II, we did. We won World War II. People said we couldn't do all kinds of things, and we did it. It was American ingenuity and American fortitude and everything else that pushed it. So there we go. All right. And by the way, too, I am actually wearing one of my wonderful American Perspective logoed shirts. It's the black one. This is the black one that I have. I kind of lost my balance there for a second. Anyway, all right. So let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Speaking of confidence and things that we have done, we helped, big time helped defeat the Nazis over in Europe. And yet, for whatever reason, people seem to think that we have Nazis here. For an example, they are talking about the whole Musk salute, his Nazi salute. Yeah, his Nazi salute. Well, I hate to tell you this, but Cory Booker just did one not too long ago. And it's we gotta, I've just got to show you this video. Whoever did this, spot on. Good job for this, but take a look at this. You have Elon Musk on the right, Cory Booker on the left, and you guys tell me if you see much of a difference. I'm not going to say there is slight differences. Okay, there's slight differences here, but you tell me if you see much of a difference between these two performing essentially the same action. Yeah, I'm going to let it play a couple more times. Yeah. Oh, and you see, if you're watching over on Corey's side, as he's walking away, he's like patting his chest like Elon started with. This is a exact example of the hypocrisy that lives not only within the mainstream media, but also all of the leftists that are out there. Because of the reason is they accused Elon Musk of this Nazi salute, and yet Cory Booker does essentially the exact same motion with his arm. He puts his hand over his heart, he puts it up toward the sky in what is, thought of as a Nazi salute, because let's face it, the Nazis kind of did this, the whole Heil Hitler kind of deal. And what do they do? They sit there and they complain about the fact that that Elon Musk did it, and they called him a Nazi, mainly just because he came from South Africa. But Cory Booker does it, nah, not a peep. Not a single peep. They just don't seem to give a crap. And by the way, the spokesperson for the New Jersey Senator of Cory Booker delivered a response on the controversy. I believe it's last Sunday. He goes, Cory Booker was obviously just waving to the crowd. Anyone who claims his wave is the same as Elon Musk's gesture is operating in bad faith. Really? I just showed you a video of the two of them side by side. You guys tell me, was there any real difference between the two motions that were made? Anything. I mean, just This is the leftist lunatics, okay? This is the leftist lunatics. That's what they are out there. There's absolutely no difference in the generic gesture that you've seen from both Elon Musk and Cory Booker and Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and, any other number of people. The hypocrisy on the left is just amazing. And no, I am calling out hypocrisy because that's exactly what it is. Our guy does it and it's fine. Their guy does it and no, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, we now have some more information. And again, I'm getting a little tired, to be honest with you, of this whole idea of saying that all of these judges that are ruling against Donald Trump, that they are non-biased. That all these judges that are, they're judges. Their opinions are right down the center. They follow the law. Yeah, sorry. I don't believe it. And here's one example. Here it is, the Daily Signal. The judge who ruled twice against Trump gave almost $500,000 to Democrats. Okay, $500,000. A federal judge who has currently ruled twice to halt executive actions by President Donald Trump. I mean, let's not even go down the path because I've already covered it. These guys do not have the constitutional authority to do this, yet they are doing it anyway. Sooner or later, the Supreme Court is going to have to say something, or Congress is going to have to say something. But anyway, he previously gave roughly $500,000 in campaign contributions to the Democrats. Now, me personally, I think that this is something that demonstrates a clear bias and should violate all kinds of ethics rules. Now, in my personal opinion, if you're a judge, you should, first of all, abstain from putting in any kind of contributions to any kind of political powers. But if you really are going to have to do it, then make the law basically say, hey, if you're going to do it, you got to do it equally on both sides. If you're going to give $500,000 one way, you got to give $500,000 the other way. Because the point here is that these judges and justices are supposed to be, generally speaking, middle of the road. That's their job. But we've devolved into this idea that justices and judges, because they're sitting on a bench of high esteem, that they can actually have their biases show up. This is not the way that a judge should do this. Now, the judge is District Court Judge John McConnell of the District of Rhode Island, and he is also going to preside over another case involving Trump, which, by the way, Boasberg seems to come up a lot with the Trump folks. Like, there's no real manipulation of when these judges get these cases. Really? Yeah, like I do believe that. But anyway, so McConnell has one case where he sided with the coalition of Democrat state attorneys general to stop the federal funding freeze. In another state, he sided with the state of Rhode Island regarding federal funding cuts. Again, these are things that should not be in the federal court system. They should be right up in front of the Supreme Court. That being said, McConnell, in the next case, is going to be ruling on a separate case brought by 20 Democrat state attorneys general against the Trump administration for threatening to withhold federal funds from jurisdictions that do not enforce federal immigration law. In the case of California versus U.S. Department of Transportation. Now, his contributions, by the way, include $28,500 to the Democrat Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, which funds House candidates. That was in 2008. He contributed $25,000 toward the election of North Dakota Senator Heidi Heitkamp in 2000, $12,500 to the Washington State Democratic Party in 2008. That's my home state. $10,000 to the Rhode Island Democratic Party in 2004, and $7,500 to the then Wisconsin Governor Jim Doyle re-election in 2006. In total, he has contributed roughly $190,000 to members of Congress and at least $200,000 combined to the Democrat Party at the national and state level, according to various sources. Folks, and it's not even just him. His wife, as well, has also been a major donor to Democrats, according to both of the sources, Open Secrets and Roll Call, contributing $250,000 in total to Democrat candidates. She's also contributed $4,200 to the campaigns of Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. Her other contributions include $26,200 to the Democratic National Committee in 2008, $12,500 to the Washington State Democratic Party in 2008, $11,000 to the Rhode Island Democratic Party in 2006, and $5,000 to Heitkamp in 2000. Yeah, these people, I'm telling you, they demonstrate their bias the minute that you look at the things that they donate to. They demonstrate this bias all over. And, yeah, I can't, and you expect them to rule unbiased in favor of the actual winner? Yeah, I don't think so. These people are definitely a problem, for sure. Definite a problem. Definitely a problem. All right. Well, speaking of California and this new case that's come up, so Trump is reportedly about to slash some federal funds for California. Now, he's doing it because of the fact that he's doing it because of the fact that the California refuses to abide by the administration's Title IX guidelines about allowing boys in girls' sports. So, according to multiple sources, according to CNN, of course, that the process of taking away federal funding is underway. So, the Trump administration, this is according to CNN, the Trump administration is preparing to cancel a large swath of federal funding for California, an effort which could begin as soon as yesterday, according to multiple sources. Agencies are being told to start identifying grants the administration can withhold from California. On Capitol Hill, at least one committee was told recently by a whistleblower that all research grants to the state were going to be canceled, according to one of the sources familiar with the matter. CNN, of course, has reached out to the White House for comment. Now, here's the thing, okay? And yes, I do have hair on my shirt. It does show up quite well in the black. So yes, I do. But anyway, sorry, Bonnie was asking, did Rick have cat hair on his shirt? Yeah, I've got cat hair, dog hair, horse hair. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, so basically here's the thing, is that if he can successfully remove this funding, California is going to be in a world of hurt. See, California and all these kinds of states, they actually rely on federal funding. Oh, yeah. Oh, I should do that. Here you go. Here you go. There you go, Bonnie. There's the squirrel. All right. California relies a lot on federal funding. And in fact, California right now, 1/3 of its budget 1/3 of its proposed budget, this dark blue section right here, is 1/3. That's 34.6% of its budget is coming from federal funds. Now, those federal funds, a large, I mean massively large majority of that funds are to fund HHS programs, Medicare, Medicaid, things like that. Stuff that unconstitutionally has been placed on the American people, because there is nothing in the Constitution that states that healthcare is a mandated responsibility of the federal government. And therefore, the 10th Amendment applies. But here, I mean, they are, if he can successfully do this, it's going to cause some serious hurt. It's going to cause some serious hurt for all of this. So yeah. 4 in 5 of the federal dollars that are projected to flow through California's state budget, which is roughly $134.9 billion, support the health and human services for millions of Californians. Yeah. Now they call out the idea that this is just for children, seniors, families with low incomes. Yeah, it's not just them, folks. It's also all the illegal aliens that Newsom wants to provide for them. That's what they're looking to do. And honestly, I hope he is able to get it done. I hope he's able to get it done. I hope that these states, and I'm not even talking just blue states, I'm talking even red states. Folks, the federal government is not supposed to be funding all of this crap. It never was. It's not supposed to be funding things like Social Security or health care or Medicaid, Medicare, all of these social programs. 60%, I'm going to say close to 60% because I don't remember the exact number, but close to 60% of the federal government spending goes to social programs, and a small percentage of that 60 goes to all of our interest payments. 60%. And those are all freaking, unconstitutional. They're programs and things that the Constitution basically does not cover. That they are not supposed to be spending our tax dollars on all of that. Okay? This is ridiculous. Totally ridiculous to sit here and think that state governments need to have all of this. No, this needs to go away. These programs need to go away. And I know it's gonna freaking hurt and it's gonna suck. I get it. But you know what? The states need to start funding these programs if they want them. If states like California wants them, go ahead. It's not impossible to balance your budgets, folks. Texas is close. Florida is close. They're close to balancing their budgets. It's not that difficult. This idea that the leftist lunatic moron Democrats have that we can just tax and spend is ridiculous. We need to get them onto a real budget, one that they can live within. And all of this crazy idea that the state governments or the federal governments are your ticket to gaining all kinds of money and everything else, that has to stop. That has to stop. We are almost $37 trillion in debt right now at the federal government level. Shoot, California is even projecting, based on Governor Gavin Newsom's budget, they're predicting about a $20 billion shortfall. I mean, this is ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Speaking of budgetary numbers, we've been talking about the big, beautiful bill quite a bit. We've been talking about it because Elon's brought it into the fold and everything else. And of course, a lot of the Democrats are pointing to things like the CBO estimate or, whatever other kinds of estimate there that, hey, the budget, it's going to break Americans. It's going to break America. It's going to do all these different things. Well, yeah. Speaking of bias, well, it helps for you to create this report saying that all kinds of big things are going to happen when you're biased yourself. So, the Foundation for Government Accountability has a new report out, and it's raising concerns because of the, let's just say the partisanship. And remember, I keep telling you guys, federal government, the blob that you're talking about, the deep state that we're talking about, is the bureaucracies filled with liberal, well, I won't say liberal, leftist lunatic morons that are running around trying to run the government. This was Woodrow Wilson's idea, by the way, he felt like the Constitution was an outdated document, and that the bureaucracy had a better way, a better knowing, and a better way of running the government than the Congress would, or that the Constitution outlined. But here, take a look at this. And you're telling me that you're going to trust the CBO? This is a breakdown of the CBO employees' registered political affiliations. Almost 80% of the people in the CBO are registered Democrats. There's only 12.5% that are registered Republican, and whatever's left over, 8.6% in this chart, is registered as independent or unaffiliated. Folks, I have never met anyone who is a Democrat who has been unable to separate themselves from their biases. Never. The minute that you say something that goes against their protected worldview that they have, they immediately start calling you a racist. They start calling you all kinds of names. They immediately go to name calling. They cannot discuss the issues on a logical, reasonable, conversational level. Not a single one. I have yet to meet one that can sit there and honestly tell me that they do not view conservatives as being white oppressors and, Christians as being racist and bigoted and all kinds of other things. I have yet to see just give me a single Democrat, I don't even care, that can actually divorce themselves from their ideology and look at the view of the world in a what would be considered to be a more objective viewpoint. They can't. And the reason why they can't is because their ideology doesn't allow them to do it. It doesn't allow them to separate themselves, because all of their positions and things that they take on, they all revolve completely around with emotional. It's all emotional arguments. You will never find a Democrat who actually argues on the points, the individual points, with logic, reason, and objectivity. None. Not a single one. Now, the CBO itself was established in 1974 with the mission of providing objective, nonpartisan information to support the congressional budget process. This isn't, you look at this chart, this is not nonpartisan. It's not nonpartisan at all. I guarantee you that. So, that being said, we honestly don't know what is going to happen, because the analyses of the big beautiful bill have been mixed at best. The CBO says one thing. There's been independents that have said both ways, that have talked about both ways. So I yeah. I don't know how anybody can sit here and say that the CBO is actually nonpartisan when close to 80% of their people identify as Democrats. Same thing with the judges. When you have judges who are going and donating to Democrat causes and not donating to Republican causes and anything else, how can you honestly say that they are nonpartisan? You can't. And when you're working within the federal government, you have to be nonpartisan. You have to divorce yourself from your personal political views and do the nonpartisan job that you have in front of you. Anyway, so one thing that has come up with regards to this big, beautiful bill, there's been a lot of talk of giving out Doge checks. And there's a bunch of House conservatives who believe that what we should actually do is, rather than handing out the funds back to taxpayers, basically take it and pay down the debt. I am not arguing that at all. I'm not. I actually think, because as much as I would love to see, a $5,000 check come my way, I know that if that $5,000 check comes my way, that is basically just handing it over to the future. I don't necessarily get anything. I mean, yeah, I can use it to invest. I can use it to pay bills. There's hundreds of things that I could use it for. But the reality of it is you've already taken my money. You've already taken my money in taxes. Just balance the budget. Bring the taxes down. Give me low taxes and low regulation. Get rid of all this other crap. Let's take this money that you're saying that you're finding and put it to good use. Bring down the 36 to almost $37 trillion deficit or debt. Get rid of it, because what's going to end up happening is, in the long run, that interest rate that we're paying, like I was telling you before, that interest rate that we're paying is going to come down. And the more we pay off, the less interest we're going to have to be paying every single time. Not to mention the fact that, hey, if they send me a check, they're going to tax it anyway. So I'm going to get taxed on money that was already taxed, that you collected because of taxes. But hey, that happens anyway. I mean, our money gets taxed. I think somebody estimated or said that it was taxed something like 7 times before it even comes to you. Might have been Ben Shapiro who was mentioning that. But anyway, the point being is that our money is already pleasantly taxed all over the course of everything. I mean, just take the savings, apply it to the national debt, and let's see what happens. Now, granted, they're not even finding anywhere close to something that could put a big enough dent in the national debt. However, all of that being said, I would rather have them use that money over there than necessarily give it to me, because, I mean, you've already taken it. I won't miss it if you don't get it back. Anyway. All right, let's go ahead and get one of these things out of the way. All right, 1775 coffee. Have you still not tried 1775 coffee? Well, now is your shot. The starter kit, 1775 starter kit, just dropped, and they have a limited number of these kits available. In this kit, you're getting the bold dark roast. You're getting the smooth medium roast. And you're also getting the Vitality Mushroom Coffee, which gives you clean energy and laser focus with no crash. All of these coffees are single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're also getting, and this I think is like just the coolest thing ever, the gold spoon clip. Okay? Because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. You're also getting a frother, strong enough to stir up your coffee and, of course, your mother-in-law's political opinions. Not like you really need to have any motivation for that. Have you ever noticed that a Democrat will have no problem telling you their political opinions? Anyway, all right, enough. And a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for just $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble and wondering if it is actually worth it. Yes, there is a Vitality mushroom coffee, Becky. Becky's like, did you say mushrooms? Yeah, not shrooms, but mushrooms. Okay. Anyway, moving back into it. So you're picking up $170 worth of coffee and gear for $100 for $99. This is the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble and wondering if it is actually worth it. Spoiler alert, yes, it is. Go to 1775coffee, all one word, .com and /studio. That's the question mark key for those that are interested. Go to 1775coffee. That's 1775. Those are the numbers. Coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. Start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe. Go to 1775coffee, 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit today. All right. Boy, look at that. My my closed captioning actually put the slash in there. In the URL. Anyway. All right. Okay. So we're going to move into some conversations about illegals and ICE. First of all, yes, I am aware that there are some riots and looting that are going on in Los Angeles, that the National Guard has reportedly been called in, which is National Guard, just by the way, so you understand, is under the control of the governor until the governor decides to hand over control to the president of the United States. So all of that talk that Donald Trump had about how if you don't, governor, if you don't start, putting these riots and stuff down, that we're going to take care of it ourselves. Yeah. Anyway, he kind of can't. There's this thing called the Posse Comitatus Act and the Insurrection Act, which requires specific items to be done before U.S. troops can actually be deployed on U.S. soil and used against its citizenry. And that is that's a fact that all of the January 6th people who kept saying that January 6th was an insurrection, they don't seem to understand. But anyway, I digress from where I was going. Well, there's a student in North Carolina, by the way, that a North Carolina school district, this kid, okay, was he was suspended for using the term illegal alien. And now he is slated to receive a $20,000 payment and a public apology under a proposed settlement, according to the New York Post. So the outlet reported on Thursday that the settlement was reached to remove all references to racial bias from the now 17-year-old Christian McGee's record, provide compensation, and issue a public apology for the mischaracterization of racial bias. So here's the thing. The teen received a 3-day suspension last year after asking a teacher if a conversation in class was centered around spaceship aliens or illegal aliens who need green cards, after he had returned to the classroom from the restroom. Okay? Now, yeah, they suspended him for that. Now, here's the thing, folks, and I'm going to show you this right here, right now. This is in the law, okay? In the law. And this is why he won. And this is why these leftist idiots are so screwed up. This is in the law, okay? This is Code 8, Section 1101. This is USC Code 8, or Title 8, Section 1101, which goes through and defines words as used in the law, the Naturalization and Immigration Act that created these things. Right here, as used in this chapter, number 3, the term alien, and it's right above my head, whoopsie, my finger's away, right above my head there. It says, the term alien means any person not a citizen or national of the United States. That is the correct terminology. It is the correct legal terminology for people who have come here who are not a citizen or national of the United States. Period. So this whole idea that the left likes to grab onto language. They like to warp that language and turn it into something else. So they sit here and talk about illegal immigrants. Legally, they are not illegal immigrants. They are illegal aliens. Period. That is the legal definition and terminology correctly used when referring to people who have come here to the United States who are not a citizen or a national. Right here in the law, Title 8, Section 1101, subsection A, subsection 3. Period. End of story, folks. You can sit here and be pissed all day long, leftists. You can be pissed at somebody saying, oh, it's an illegal immigrant. No, they're not. Legally, the correct terminology is illegal alien. I've shown this before. Now, you can be a legal alien, by the way, because who would be considered an immigrant who has come here and actually gone through the process, has the proper paperwork, has gotten their green card or their visa or whatever, and is on the way to becoming what would be considered a naturalized citizen of the United States. That would be a legal alien, also known as an immigrant. You know, no matter how many times I sit here and show the truth and logic and reason and the facts and reality, any of the leftists watching my show or listening on the podcast, the audio portion of the program, or even checking in with me and trying to check in with me on social media, they all seem to think that I'm just blowing smoke out my ass, and this is not the case. I bring the receipts every single time. I have it in front of you. You guys see it. I put it in the show notes. I point where I got the information from, and they all just sit here and think that I'm just some conspiracy spouting whatever. And believe me, their language is a lot more colorful than I will ever get into. But this is the fact. They are illegal aliens. End of story. According to law. All right. So here's why LA is basically in the state that it is in right now. So ICE has done multiple immigration sweeps, okay, in the last 2 days. There have been many immigration sweeps reported across LA, which stands for Los Angeles, not Louisiana. Apparently, there was a tense standoff downtown where the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents yesterday carried out a series of immigration sweeps, including 2 in the downtown area that sparked a tense standoff. Video shows federal agents running after people in the parking lot of a Home Depot in Westlake, not far from downtown Los Angeles. A man recording the video can be heard warning people in Spanish that immigration officials were at the location and to stay away. Another raid occurred at a business in the Garment District on near 9th and Town Streets, with agents in riot gear detaining workers at clothing stores as dozens of people began to gather outside. As workers were hauled off in cuffs, throngs of people yelled at the agents, held up their cell phones to record them, according to videos of the showdown. One person actually threw eggs at one of the vehicles as the agents pushed members of the public back, the video showed. Now, ICE, in this process, has put out and cited, some sources have cited, that agents have arrested 2,267 individuals on last Tuesday. That only surpasses the figure of 2,368 on Wednesday. The combined total of 4,635 arrests in just 48 hours marks one of the most aggressive enforcement pushes in recent agency history. Now, officials attribute the increase to a rise in worksite enforcement operations, immigrant court apprehensions, and the use of collateral arrests, where the individuals who are not the initial targets are taken into custody if found with a suspect during enforcement action. So, the ICE is going after them, folks. ICE is going after them. They are starting to do exactly what the American people voted them in for. Now, the ICE agents, of course, are hoping and praying, in a way, that the administration's reconciliation bill, known as the Big Beautiful Bill, will actually get passed, because there's proposed legislation in there that includes funding for 10,000 additional ICE agents and tens of thousands of more in terms of detention beds. The source, who is a senior ICE agent, said if the bill passes, numbers will be supercharged and shoot through the roof. So this surge in enforcement also coincides with a broader shift away from Biden-era immigration policy. Now, Trump, at the same time, has also decided to issue a travel ban this week, targeting multiple countries, and this is following the anti-Semitic terror attack that occurred in Boulder, Colorado, which, by the way, that gentleman is being charged with 118 counts of something. I'm sure the counts vary, but it's a total of 118 counts. That guy is in for some serious trouble. But the President of the United States issued this statement with regards to the 12 places, the 12 countries.
The recent terror attack in Boulder, Colorado, has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visas. We don't want them. In the 21st century, we've seen one terror attack after another carried out by foreign visa overstayers from dangerous places all over the world. And thanks to Biden's open door policies, today there are millions and millions of these illegals who should not be in our country. In my first term, my powerful travel restrictions were one of our most successful policies, and they were a key part of preventing major foreign terror attacks on American soil. We will not let what happened in Europe happen to America. That's why on my first day back in office, I directed the Secretary of State to perform a security review of high-risk regions and make recommendations for where restrictions should be imposed. Among the national security threats their analysis considered are the large-scale presence of terrorists, failure to cooperate on visa security, inability to verify travelers' identities, inadequate record-keeping of criminal histories, and persistently high rates of illegal visa overstays, and other things. Very simply, we cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States. That is why today I am signing a new executive order placing travel restrictions on countries including Yemen, Somalia, Haiti, Libya, and numerous others. The strength of the restrictions we're applying depends on the severity of the threat posed. The list is subject to revision based on whether material improvements are made, and likewise, new countries can be added as threats emerge around the world. But we will not allow people to enter our country who wish to do us harm, and nothing will stop us from keeping America safe. Thank you very much.
So, this obviously pissed off the left. And they started going crazy on social media and everything else. They started talking about, hey, he can't do that. He can't do that. That's not, no, this is racist. He can't, racist for him to do that. Well, folks, once again, I'm just going to point this out. Here we go. Title 8, U.S. Code 1182, Inadmissible Aliens. Folks, there's a reason why the internet is such a great place, because you have literally all of the information that you really want at your fingertips, plus a bunch that you don't want. But the point here is that all you have to do is understand, relatively easily, understand terms and terminology in order to be able to search any of these things. Now, I'm going to point out that this is a huge, sorry, let me say it right, a huge, okay, a huge block of laws. And here we go. So we have at the top, health-related grounds to bar somebody from coming in. And that's based off the Secretary of Health and Human Services, who can do this. We have criminal and related grounds for this. We have, and by the way, this goes on and it talks about multiple criminal convictions, controlled substance traffickers, prostitution, so on and so forth. There's a bunch of different things that are running through. We also have security and related grounds that we can kick somebody out. And this, it's and let's see, where else? Let's continue on down. This is a very long list. I'm telling you, long, going and going and going. You have, public charge as a reason you can put them out. You have labor certification and qualifications for certain immigrants. There's a bunch under there in terms of things that they have to follow along with. You have illegal entrants and immigration violators. Yeah, aliens present without admission or parole, which handles a bunch of these people who came across. Yeah, okay, let's continue. I'm scrolling down. This just keeps going on. Whoever's ineligible for citizenship, aliens who were previously removed, which handles a lot of people that are currently in, and that just keeps going. And then, of course, they throw in a bunch of miscellaneous things that don't actually hit, like practicing polygamists, international child abduction, guardians required to accompany a helpless alien. They have all kinds of different classifications. Unlawful voters. Oh, now any alien, again, using the proper term, any alien who has voted in violation of any federal, state, or local constitutional provision, statute, ordinance, or regulation is inadmissible. Oh, so if you vote in our elections, yeah, you're bye. Then we go down here, and I'm just going to keep scrolling because this is a scroll. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. I've told you guys this before. Again, this is Title 8, Section 1182. Right here, under subsection, well, this is subsection F. Right here. suspension of entry or imposition of restrictions by the president. Oh. And here it says, whenever the president finds that any entry or of aliens, of any aliens, sorry, I gotta get this right. Whenever the president finds that any entry of any aliens, or any class of aliens, so in other words, he can find an individual or any group that he wishes into the United States, that entry would be detrimental to the interests of the United States. And here it is, folks, right here. You cannot, I'm telling you, you cannot stop these guys. He may by proclamation and for such period as he shall deem necessary suspend the entry of all aliens or class of aliens as immigrants or non-immigrants, or impose on the entry of aliens any restrictions he may deem to be appropriate. Guess what? That paragraph right there that I've highlighted in blue, folks, is literally the president's ability handed to him by Congress in statute that allows him at any time, any class, any individual, any person that he wants, he can stop them from coming into the country. Period. This is what Biden failed to do during his 4 years. Said that he couldn't do it because Congress had to give them the power. No, it was already there. It was already there. And this is ridiculous for any of you leftist lunatic morons out there. This right here, folks, this right here is the law as it stands today. Now, you want to make changes to it? Sure, run it through Congress, make the changes, get the bill passed. Get both houses of Congress to sign off on it, and then you can take this power away from the president. But until that happens, the president has the ability to, at any time, anywhere, any person, any individual person, any class of people, for whatever reason, if he deems it that it would be detrimental to the interests of the United States, there you go. He doesn't have to justify it to Congress. He doesn't have to tell Congress previously that he's going to do it. He can do it. End of story. Period. Full stop. And if you're a leftist lunatic moron who does not look at this and understand that the president has carte blanche power to do this, regardless of what you may think of him, this was given to him by Congress. Because Congress, of course, has the Article 1, Section 8 responsibility of creating immigration law, immigration and naturalization law. There you go, folks. Title 8, Section 1182. You run across anybody on social media that starts talking and crowing about how the president can't just carte blanche block people, right here. Take a note. And you can even refer them right to the Cornell Law School for it. Right here. So freaking ridiculous that these people are just, they're complete morons, and they do not have the research capability. See, this is something that I've been maintaining in terms of about our educational system. Our educational system teaches the youngsters of this generation and the generation between me and them, it's teaching them what to think, not how to think. You have no idea what research looked like prior to the invention of the internet. And no, contrary to what everybody wants you to believe, Al Gore did not create the internet. Believe me, I know the history of how the internet was created. But all of that being said, the problem that you have here, and this goes the same for every single level of education, all the way up to PhD level. You need to understand, you need to know how to find the information that you are looking for. Not necessarily what you need to think about the information. And unfortunately, that's where our university system has fallen down. They hand you a book like Ibram X. Kendi's opinion piece and say, this is fact. Or the 1619 Project. And they say, this is fact. And it's not. It's not anywhere close. And what's sad about the entire thing is they are so moronic in their thinking, they cannot accept anything that shatters or will do any kind of questioning on their world view. No, 3 Chevy just hit the nail right on the head. What to think takes a lot less effort than learning how to think. This is the problem with our educational system today. This is the issue, is that they don't know where to look for information. They don't know how to discern fake information, disinformation, misinformation, which does exist, by the way. But they can't even figure out how to figure that out, how to separate what is real and what is fiction in the entire situation. Anyway. All right. Yeah, let me go ahead and hit this next. I got to get paid, folks. I just do. I got to get paid. Anyway, this sponsorship is from Rumble, one that is incredibly important to the survival of the company. When Rumble first started in 2013, they built the platform for the small creator. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair, and they treated all creators equally. No one thought the platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions on COVID, but they did. Facebook itself, the owner of Facebook, the owner of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg himself admitted that they fell to pressure from the Biden and Harris administration. Rumble did not. They held the line. They are attacked daily for giving us, the small content creator, who put out facts, evidence, bring the receipts, a voice to talk to you. They, meaning Rumble, are attacked in corporate media. They are attacked by governments like France. They are, speaking, by the way, in terms of France, the French are starting to change their idea of how Macron is doing with their sense of freedom. I saw that. I didn't put it in the show notes, but I saw that. Anyway, they are attacked in corporate media. They are attacked by governments like France. They are attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. So corporate America is fighting to remove speech. Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers. They don't get that much of it. Watching our show, this show on Rumble, is the most that we can ask from you, or they can ask from you. But if you really believe in this fight, and if you have the means, one major way that you can help Rumble itself survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our human right to free speech. Rumble is offering a $10 off with the promo code STUDIO, that's STUDIO, when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com / once again, that's that question mark key, / premium, and use promo code STUDIO to get yourself $10 off when you purchase an annual subscription to Rumble Premium. Go to rumble.com / premium and use promo code STUDIO to get that $10 off when you purchase an annual subscription. Like I said, if you have the means and believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, that's okay. That's all right. We get it. We're just happy if you watch us on Rumble. All right. Well, folks, it looks like there's a little bit of action that might be happening. Now, whether or not anything comes of this, I honestly have zero idea. Let me take and wet my whistle here for just a second. Oh, that's some good Knob Creek. Anyway, the House Oversight Committee has sent a subpoena for Biden's personal doctor. man's name is Kevin O'Connor, to appear on June 27th and give a deposition and transcribed statement about the former president's mental decline. House Oversight Chair Representative James Comer had requested O'Connor and 4 other top White House aides to appear voluntarily or to be compelled to testify under oath. Comer told Fox News' Sean Hannity, he said, "We expect all witnesses to fully comply with the committee's investigation. The committee will issue subpoenas if necessary." O'Connor's lawyers had reportedly reached out to the committee, but no definitive date was actually set. Representative Comer disclosed that the doctor refused to comply with the voluntary request. His lawyers had reportedly said he could not honor it due to physician-patient privilege, which the House Oversight Chair said lacks merit. Comer also kind of mocked the former president when he said that no auto pen was used in the signing of the subpoena. Oh. He also wrote, "I expect," and this was on X, "I expect Dr. Kevin O'Connor, President Joe Biden's physician, to appear for a deposition on June 27, 2025, as part of the GOP Oversight's investigation into the cover-up of Joe Biden's decline and the unauthorized use of the auto pen." Now, speaking of the auto pen, there's a very strange, well, it's not really all that strange when you look at it, but the auto pen was used to sign a whole bunch of pardons. But here's the interesting part. And I reported on this a while ago because it's been floating out there, but people are starting to now start to kind of question. The one that he signed, the pardon that he signed for his son, Hunter Biden, is likely his actual signature, because it has now been confirmed to be different than the auto pen signings of all the other pardons, or at least a vast majority of them. I'm sure that they've been looking through, but the Hunter Biden pardon was is more than likely his actual signature, which indicates that he actually at least was somewhat aware that he was signing that piece of paper hopefully for his son. But the other pardons that are out there, those were done by the auto pen. And so the question has to be asked, if the auto pen was used by a third party without Biden's knowledge or consent, does that mean that the only pardon that actually exists is the one for Hunter? That the only pardon that is legally binding is the one for Hunter, and not necessarily the rest of all of the pardons that were running around, for example, his family members outside of Hunter, or Adam Schiff, the January 6th committee members, Liz Cheney, the thousands of, people that he let off of death row. All of those, if all of those are done by auto pen, and we can determine and prove that Biden was non compos mentis at the time that those were signed, does that mean that they're legal? And if not, what does that mean? Does that mean that they need to be rescinded? Legally, can they be rescinded? And if so, what is going to happen? And yes, Bonnie, I also noticed Fauci as well. Well, she called him Fraudchi, which, that's nothing unusual. But anyway, the point being is that, folks, this auto pen deal is just, again, the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this thing. You have the entire 51 intelligence analysts who all said that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation when it was actually real. So, yeah, Anyway, the point being is that they're trying to figure all this out. And of course, let's keep in mind, too, that Hunter Biden had free reign of the White House. In fact, has been described as the Biden family chief of staff when it came to everything else. So if the signature, the differential signature that shows up on Hunter's pardon is actually not the Joe Biden signature, okay, then what does that mean? Does that mean the signature could potentially be a forgery? Or maybe, as Bonnie points out, did Hunter actually forge Daddy's signature? Because I can tell you, when I was a kid, my sister could forge my mother's signature pretty damn well. I mean, you would have to be like a signature analysis expert in order to be able to tell the difference. This is a really big deal, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, because we still haven't fully unveiled all of the pay for play influence peddling schemes that have been going on, that the House Oversight Committee has uncovered and been able to track through the banking system. I mean, this is just one of many scandals. The classified documents scandal, the auto pen, the all of this other stuff is lining up to make it to where the one-term Biden presidency is the most corrupt presidency of modern history. All right. There's one state. There is one state in the union that is actually beginning to make a significant change in the culture within its own borders. There are several religious freedom bills that are coming up and moving through the Texas state legislature. Texas lawmakers, this is in the Populous Times, Texas lawmakers are moving on a significant series of religious freedom and pro-family bills through the House and the Senate, sending them to the desk of Governor Greg Abbott to sign into law, providing the state with a foundation to fundamentally shift the Texan culture. So here's a list of 4 of the bills that are moving through. One of them is SB 10, which is the 10 Commandments bill that was introduced by State Senator Phil King and brings the religious text back to classroom walls and into the curriculum. The 10 Commandments are part of our Texas and American story. They are ingrained into who we are as a people and as a nation. Today, our students cry out for moral clarity for the statement of right and wrong they represent. Our students don't know the 10 Commandments. They will never understand the foundation of much of American history and law, Senator King said when he was introducing the bill. SB 11, which protects freedom of prayer in schools, allowing students who receive parental consent to opt into a period of prayer and reading of the Bible and other religious texts. That one might be a little dangerous, but anyway. SB 1049, which is children who receive parental consent who will also be allowed to attend religious courses, like Bible studies, during school hours off campus. And HB, which stands for House Bill 3284, that bill establishes the creation of a commission to study and promote marriage and healthy families throughout the state of Texas. The commission has until November 2026 to present its findings. Now, here's the thing, and this is what a lot of the left seems to fight against because it goes totally against their thought processes. Regardless of what you think, the United States was a country that was founded on Judeo-Christian principles and values. And I got into a discussion with somebody on X where they were saying, no, 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 the majority of the founding fathers were deists. Well, first of all, that actually is wrong. It's incorrect. The majority of the founding fathers actually believed in what was known as the revealed God through the Bible. That being said, a deist, though, is not an atheist. The term deist comes from the term deity, which indicates a creator or a god. The deists only did not believe in the revealed God of the Bible. They believed that God would reveal himself through the natural law and the natural order of things. But it still doesn't discount the fact that they believed, as deists, that natural law supersedes and influences man's law. And this is where our country came from. Even Thomas Jefferson, who is consistently being referred to as the one person who is the deist, the known deist, he even wrote in the Declaration of Independence about the Creator. About the Creator. He believed in a single entity, a single superior being, supreme being that ordered everything within the universe. And that essentially is God. He believed in the morality of man. And for those of you who are not a student of history, the preamble to the Declaration of Independence that basically stated, and I quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator certain inalienable rights, that among these include the pursuit or include the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." That preamble was not touched at all by the Continental Congress. Not touched at all. Now, the rest, which the Declaration of Independence, by the way, was a letter to the King of England in basically outlining all of the colonists' frustrations, okay? But that particular document, the very first paragraph, known as the preamble, was not touched at all by the Continental Congress. The Continental Congress argued and debated and modified and changed just about everything else within that document, with the exception of the first paragraph, which called out a creator. Now, you sit here and you tell me that if these people were deists, meaning that they were something other than folks who believed in one supreme being and one God, well, I can't even think of it. I just lost it. But anyway, that they believed in one supreme being who manages the earth and everything else. You're telling me that they actually didn't believe in God. That's crap. They did. They all did. Every single one of them came here for the purpose of religious freedom, and some to make money. But the original colonists that came here were to get away from the King of England and the Church of England, to be able to worship in the way that they felt that they needed to do, that it was their right to worship their God in the way that they wanted to worship. And it was this basic principle, which, by the way, was foundational Judeo-Christian values and principles, that created this country. So you can't sit here and tell me that, oh, they were deists, they didn't believe in the God that you do. Well, you're right. They don't believe in the God that is the revealed God, but they did believe in the God. They did believe in the God that exists as a part of natural law, that exists as a part of the Judeo-Christian system, that exists to provide us with values and principles that are enshrined within the Declaration of Independence and within our Constitution that governments derived by men should be minimalist in nature in order to allow the people to do what they need to do in their own lives. And that is it for me for this evening, folks. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And if you are signed up and signed in, please search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live. Also, too, don't forget to hit those thumbs up or thumbs down if you really want to on all of my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, and, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you Monday right here on American Perspective at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great rest of your weekend and a great evening, and good night, everybody.